right, blessings, everyone. Okay, I'm just going to get started here.
That is really the book of Revelation is presented. And it was sealed, as you know, with 7 seals. In those days, they didn't have printed books, but they had long sheets of paper or parchment that were rolled up. And every book was originally a scroll. And this chapter opens with an angel crying with a loud voice, a very strong angel. And he says, "Who is worthy to open the scroll and to undo its 7 seals?" And no one was found worthy in all of heaven. And I'm doing what John did. I'm weeping that no one was found worthy to open this scroll. I believe the scroll is God's plan to close the age. But one of the elders said to John, "Don't weep. The Lion of the tribe of Judah has prevailed." I want to point out to you that when Jesus became a Jew, it was not just for 33 years. Because here he is in eternity. He's still the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And Judah, you know, is the name from which we get the word Jew. It's directly derived from Judah. I often think that heaven will be an embarrassing place for anti-Semites. If you think about the New Jerusalem, it had 12 foundations and 12 doors, and every name was a Jewish name. Furthermore, the name above all other names was Yeshua. So how can you feel if you're opposed to the Jewish people? How could you ever feel at home in the New Jerusalem? So John is told the Lion of the tribe of Judah has prevailed. And he looked around to see, expecting to see, I'm sure, a very strong, fierce, warlike lion. And what did he see? A lamb, looking as if it had been slain. I cannot overcome that revelation. The strength of God is not in physical strength. It's not in human strength. It's in a broken spirit. It's a humble life. Brethren, if you want God's power, don't climb upwards. Bend downwards. The great evangelist Muda once said, "When I was a young Christian, I thought that God kept his gifts on shelves, and the best gifts were on the highest shelves, and I would have to reach up." But he said, "I learned later, the best gifts are on the lowest shelves, and I had to stoop down." I'd like to read to you just a passage from 1 Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 25. Paul says, "The foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men." So the things that seem foolish to the natural mind, and the things that seem weak, are the things in which God invests his wisdom and his strength. And Paul was undoubtedly talking about the cross when he spoke about the foolishness of God and the weakness of God. What is weaker than a crucified man? What is more foolish than to allow your son to be crucified in front of a jeering crowd? And I don't know whether you've ever noticed this. God has never corrected that impression. Jesus was never revealed alive afterwards except to witnesses chosen before God. As far as the world is concerned, the last they ever saw of him was a corpse on a cross, and God did nothing to correct that impression. The weakness of God is stronger than men. The foolishness of God is wiser than men. Second Timothy chapter 2. I feel this is a lesson of tremendous importance to the contemporary church, and especially the leadership. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 11 and 12. For this is a faithful saying, for if we died with him, we shall also live with him. If we endure, we shall also reign. See, I have a series that I preached years ago that had the title, The Way Up is Down. The higher you want to go, the lower you have to start. Jesus said, everyone who exalts himself shall be abased, and everyone who humbles himself shall be exalted. And in Philippians chapter 2, after speaking about the humiliation of Jesus to the ultimate, not merely to death, but to death on the cross, the next word that Paul uses is therefore. Therefore God has also highly exalted him and given him the name that is above every name. You see the therefore? Why was Jesus exalted? Not because he was a favorite son, but because he met the conditions. And I want to say to each one of you, dear children of God, if you want to be exalted, come down. The lower down you come, the higher God will place you. Today I see in the church such aggressive self-promotion, so much personal ambition. I was thinking for 2 or 3 years, the real problem in the church today is in the ministry, and it's personal ambition. But I thought to myself, I can't find a scripture for that, so I won't say. And then God showed me that was the problem of Satan himself, Lucifer. He wanted equality with God. He moved to promote himself, and he was thrown down. And dear brothers and sisters, everyone who seeks to promote himself will ultimately be abased.
But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for the Lord dwelleth in Zion. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her, that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she has received of the Lord's hand double for all her sins. Every valley shall be exalted, every mountain and hill shall be low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it. See it together, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. For the Lord thy God has blessed thee in all thy works of thy hands. He knoweth the walking through this great wilderness. These 40 years the Lord thy God has been with thee. Thou hast lacked nothing.
This suburban nursing home in Kirkland, Washington, made headlines as the center of the country's first deadly outbreak of COVID-19. Since the first positive test at the Life Care Center on February 28th, the virus spread to nearly 2/3 of its population. Geneva Wood spent much of the winter there, recovering from a stroke. Just days before she was supposed to go home, COVID-19 put the facility on lockdown. 3 days later, Wood spiked a fever.
I didn't know that I had the virus until I had the virus. Of it before. I hadn't been my faith in God and my family and their prayers and all of their families and the church and everything, and just the faith and prayers pulled me through.
Largely kept in isolation, Wood says God was her only companion. She specifically remembers one night when she wasn't sure if she would survive until morning.
I could feel God's presence. His hands were on my body, and I could feel His presence, and I wake up and I could feel these hands. And I went back to sleep. And through the night, as I wake up, I couldn't see His face, but I could feel His hands, and I knew He was with me, and I made it through the night. Until you felt God's presence and His hands on you, it's something else. And if it hadn't have been for Him, I couldn't have done it. And I wasn't alone because He was with me all the time.
Exodus 23:25. And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and He shall bless thy bread and thy water, and I will take sickness away from the midst of thee. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for He is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching. No fear, be love, and give hope.